Tuesday's lesson, memory verse, says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts." This is out of Isaiah. Isaiah 55, 8 and 9. "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Can you give an example of how God's ways are higher than human ways?
He designed DNA. He didn't read it. He designed it.
Okay? So his capacity to build, when you say creation, let's be clear here, space, time, energy, matter, life,
Complexity.
everything he's built. He's built reality. Now, what kind of laws does reality operate upon?
Design laws.
They're constants. They never change. So here, let's see if this is an example of God's ways being higher than our ways. And this is Jesus speaking, Matthew 5, 43 through 45. "You have heard it said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. He causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and send rain on the righteous and the unrighteous." What do you hear? Would this be an example of God's ways being higher than our ways?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Yeah, a loving God, a just God. He treats us all the same.
What kind of law did you hear? Did you hear law in that at all? Anybody hear law in that?
Design.
Law of love.
Ah.
Right.
Remember he said when they asked him about keeping the law, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and neighbor as yourself. All law of the prophets hang on this. But did you see examples that he gave? He actually gave, this is where Jesus is a brilliant teacher. He always uses the integrative evidence-based approach when he says, here, love your neighbor as yourself. And it says, love your neighbor is part of the Old Testament. But then he expands and says, here's God's design in nature. He causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends the rain on the righteous and unrighteous. Now, does the sun discriminate? It's only going to shine on the righteous. It won't shine on the evil. The rain will only rain in the fields of the righteous. It won't rain in the fields of the evil. No discrimination here. These are constants. These are how reality works. Human laws don't work this way. Human laws are always discriminatory. Always have some arbitrariness to them. Their applications are always arbitrary. You can always find loopholes to them. You can always find exceptions to them. If you have a Protestant Jew and a Muslim all stand on the Empire State Building and they jump off together, gravity does not treat them differently. It's a constant. It doesn't matter their faith in what gravity does to them. When you understand God's laws this way, that's the constants of the universe as God built it. The law of love being the principle of giving, other-centeredness, upon which life is built. Remember the example I've given before? Every breath you take, you give away carbon dioxide, and the plants give oxygen back to you. A never-ending circle of giving upon which life is built. God built it that way. That's the law of love built into nature. There's many other examples. But what kind of laws do humans make? Rules with no consequence that we must threaten punishment for. And much of Christianity, sadly, teaches that God's law functions just like ours. And thus they have a God who's the source of pain and suffering and punishment, from which we now create theologies to hide us and protect us from our Creator. We don't pray like David of old. Search me and see the wicked way in me, O God. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me. That was David's prayer. We pray, Jesus, plead your blood to the Father. Cover me with your righteousness. Apply your blood to my record book so when the Father sees me, he won't see me. Don't let him look at me.
The way God's different from, he's above us, or his way of thinking is above us, is how vengeance works. Because we say vengeance is get even. You know, they deserve punishment, we're getting them. But God's vengeance is curing them. He has a vengeance on their incurable wound.
But yes, I agree. It's like doctors don't take vengeance on sick patients. Doctors take vengeance on disease. They want to eradicate the infection. They want to eradicate the virus. They want to destroy the cancer. You do not want to destroy the patient. That's design law stuff. So let's talk about this idea of, in the lesson, still in Romans 9, God hardening Pharaoh's heart.